Hello and welcome everyone again into another video, and in today's video I am trying to record this as soon as possible so I don't forget about uploading it, and they can check the audio quality before we upload it. My name is Yasser Ali. I'm a Twitch streamer. I stream on Twitch Monday, Thursday and during the weekend, so make sure to give me a follow. My Twitch stream is twitch.tv/YasserAli. I will be in the description below. And today's topic, we will be talking about the best teams you can use in the Open Ultra League based on the previous meta, based on the move update, based on my opinion on the entire meta. Open Ultra League, as you guys might know, it's a legendary weighted league. We've been seeing like some XL Pokemons here and there, but there is like two Pokemons that has been there all the time. Three Pokemons in fact. Those are Giratina, Cresselia, Registeel, and now they are joined by Tapu Fini and Cobalion. Why Cobalion? It's kind of a faster base Pokemon than Registeel, and because it has fast move pressure and it's spammier. With Tapu Fini, it's a faster base version of Cresselia, but Cresselia beat all the water more comfortably. And yeah, as I said, legendaries, XLs, and it's an Ultra League format, so 2500 CP where you can use. Now we talked about the Pokemons that you will be using. Talked about the league. Let's talk about the Pokemons that you will be seeing. Open Ultra League, before we head into the top Pokemons. Open Ultra League is by far the most consistent league in the entire game. Why? It's less RPS than Great League, because even if you get RPS, you still have a chance to come back from, because your Pokemons generally do not die to one charge move, even if it's super effective. In fact, you need at least a big nuke, and it must be a super effective and another move to KO any Pokemon. And let's go and talk about the main Pokemons. And the main Pokemons, as always, I divide them into good lead, good safe swaps, generalists. What are generalists? Are Pokemons that are good everywhere. And due to the massive variety in this league, I didn't find enough space to put these Pokemons on. So you might see it like a bit shattered here and there. So the most common lead in this cup is Pidgeot. So you either lead Pidgeot, or you lead a Steel, or you need something that beats both, but there is not that many things. The only Pokemon that is neutral to both used to be Dragonite, but this is a Pokemon that get buffed this season and get access to Drillon. It's named Sandslash. If you have a Shadow one, that's even better. And I do believe that Alolan Sandslash is going to be the best lead, unless people decide to hard counter it as well. But I do believe that the meta will be shaped around two Pokemons, which is Sandslash, Shadow Charizard. So write that thing down before we head into talk about all the other Pokemons. Yeah, so what about the Obstagoon? Obstagoon is always in the back. People who lead Obstagoon are the people who are big fans of losing lead, because technically Obstagoon doesn't beat anything in neutral. Most of the stuff Obstagoon beat are like used to be Trevenant. Trevenant is not as meta as anymore. Like as an example, Obstagoon loses to G-Fisk, even though you do super effective fast move damage, while G-Fisk doesn't. You lose the 0, by the way. Obstagoon loses to Registeel in the 0 and the 1, and in the 1-0. Imagine using Shield. Registeel doesn't need to use Shield, and you still lose to Focus Blast. Obstagoon still struggle to beat Ampharos, because Ampharos has stab damage while Obstagoon's damage are non-stab. A9 destroys it. Talonflame beats it unless Obstagoon has Hyper Beam, and if you land the Hyper Beam, you can just shield and win the game from there. But yeah, the most common lead are Pidgeot or the Steel, and Ampharos became a thing because Pidgeot was a thing. And this season, as I'm expecting, Alolan Sandslash is going to be huge of a Pokemon, because this Pokemon is just straight solid. Like the Drill Run buff was a huge buff. Why? Because Ice technically hits all the flyers, and the ground hit everything that doesn't fly. Yeah, so the grass doesn't fly. What's your point? What's your point? How about that? No. Grass resists ground, yes, but it still takes super effective from ice. So technically nothing resists both. Now I swear someone in the comments will be like, oh, this Pokemon resists both, and they will type something that doesn't make any sense. Is there a Pokemon that resists both? I'm actually worried now. Cobalion? No, Cobalion takes super effective Is there anything? Okay, I cannot think of anything that resists both. Oh well, not both. You need like Alolan Sandslash has Shadow Claw, Ice Sponge, Dildan. Is there a Pokemon that can resist all these type of damage? Ghost, Ice, and Ground. It's a massive good coverage. It's a great good coverage. That's why it's gonna replace Trevenant and take its own place. Why? Because it's just straight better. The Trevenant's problem is that you always lose to the Flyers. A-Slash doesn't care. Good safe swaps. Safe swaps are Pokemon that are generally bulky Pokemons, and they are good against their own counters with Energy Lead. As an example for that, Regirock, Umbreon, Jellicent. I mean, if you play last season, you would have known that Jellicent that was just straight everywhere. Doesn't matter what you do. If they lose lead, everyone's gonna swap Jellicent. Drapion used to be the best safe swap in the game, but then Cobalion got a buff, and then Cobalion became the only Pokemon that straight walled Drapion. Like Drapion was like literally the best safe swap before. Then they buffed Cobalion, and then Drapion has no play in the entire game now. Mandibuzz used to be good. I think it's still decent at high MMR because not that many people have Registeel. And even if they have Registeel, it's most likely going to be in the lead. So if you put Mandibuzz in the back, it's going to be aligned against the stuff that Mandibuzz is supposed to beat. Snorlax, it's like a budget good Pokemon. It's probably the best budget Pokemon. Shadow Snorlax, it's decent, even though it's non-XL, it's not a legendary. It's decent. It's probably the greatest non-XL Pokemon in this cup. Well, that's not correct, because the greatest non-XL Pokemon in this cup is Giratina Altered. This Pokemon has been shaping the Ultra League meta ever since they introduced it to the game. This Pokemon is crazy good. It's never been off meta. It always has been the best Pokemon in the cup. Even when the Ultra League was dominated by dark Pokemons like Mandibuzz, Obstagoon, Umbreon, Giratina was there. Because those Pokemons require an A and Swampert in the back, and what destroys Swampert better than Giratina Altered? Nothing. Grass not Cresselia, Yasser. Yeah, it's so funny, dude. Now, another Pokemon I want to talk about is the Shadow Charizard. Shadow Charizard has been moving slowly into becoming meta, and I think at this point, Shadow Charizard just became the hardest hitting Pokemon in the game. It just hit extremely hard. The buff to wing attack was just what Shadow Charizard need, but not Shadow Charizard needed, because non-Shadow Charizard still doesn't do enough nuking damage. It doesn't have that great nuking potential. Like Shadow Charizard can destroy Cresselia if you have like I think one auto wing attack. You just straight Blast Burn. Once you land it, you can just 2-shield and go straight Dragon Claw if you want. The Registeel matchup is scuffed because Registeel is a hell of a tank, so it's not the greatest matchup. Swampert is a Swampert, always good, never been bad. Gliscor was meta last season because everyone was trying to run those Cobalion, Pidgeot, Registeel teams, and the only meta option that could beat those three was Gliscor. Now we have A-Slash. But the Gliscor last season was the MVP, like the best code breaker in the Ultra League. Virizion is a solid anti-Walrein teams, anti-A-Slash teams, anti-Ampharos teams, Obstagoon in the back, you destroy them, Cobalion in the back, you beat them, Registeel in the back, you win that. Just don't get it aligned against a dragon. So with Virizion, you tend to need two goats. The first goat is either Cobalion or the sheep. What's the name of the sheep? You actually just said goat. Sheep is not a goat. No. When I say goats, I mean all the goats, including the sheep. What's the name of the sheep? Double. Yeah. You could use it with double, and you use double to bait out the flyers. You double to bait out, I don't know, Swampert. You use it to bait out the dragons usually, because double doesn't comfortably beat the dragons because you only hit them back with either body slam or payback. In both situations, you still lose. And we have a new Pokemon that none of us have, but we will queue into some people that have. Zygarde, the complete form, is by far probably gonna be the best Pokemon when everyone has it, but now I don't think anyone has it. But we will find some people that have. Trust me, every time I say no one should have this Pokemon. First game, you queue, first lead, Zygarde in the lead. So expect that. I don't know how though. Don't ask me, please. So these are like the main Pokemons we will see. Is it some anti-meta stuff? I mean, Dubwall is an anti-meta Pokemon. Como is a good anti-meta option. The problem with Como is that Dragonite is just straight, but Sylveon is still useful. Drifblim was good, and then they buffed Jellicent. They buffed the Trevenant. They gave us Trevenant, and they nerfed the Trevenant, and Jellicent became the best. So I still think that Jellicent is still the best. Meganium, it's just a Frenzy Plant user with an Earthquake. Parathorn is so bad. Giratina Altered is so bad. Venusaur has a play, actually. It has a play. Because there was lots of Virizion Ampharos last season. And Cobalion into Venusaur is a straight scuffed matchup for both. The one with Energy Lead usually win. Gradient is a copium Pokemon, just use double. Gradient is bad because like the fast move pressure doesn't add up, and both normal fast move pressure and grass fast move pressure is not that useful on the open Ultra League meta. Blastoise, Tapu Fini is just a straight better. In fact, it has more resistances and it beats the stuff that Blastoise struggles, such as the Dark type, like where Tapu Fini just destroys them. What about Skunk? Skunk, well, is more of a poison Pokemon. Okay, let's say that. Politoed used to be great, and then they nerfed Wither Ball, and it never see the light again. Deoxys defense, I think Home Slice Henry made a video about the Guzzlord Snorlax team. I think that was the only viable team I could see in the Ultra League meta. It wasn't by him, someone in his community, so shout out to them. G-Fisk, Registeel is just much better. Escav, bad. So we talked about the Pokemons. Let's just go and talk some meta stuff, okay? What is the team that I'm expecting people will be running? Well, according to PvPoke, the best performing team in the Ultra League was supposed to be Alolan Sand/Tapu Fini Jellicent. I was trying to find who made the team, but I didn't have enough time to look up on Twitter. I looked up some, I looked up here and there, I couldn't find. But yeah, this team, I'm expecting it to be the most used, or the highest win rate for the day one. So you either use it or hard counter it, okay? How do we counter this with a Pokemon that doesn't lose to anything? You can lead Tapu Fini, I guess. Yeah, I think you could do Tapu Fini. You could do Shadow Swampert as well, because Shadow Swampert into Pidgeot is not a bad matchup. And so this is supposed to be the best performing team. It's decent. It does decent fast move pressure. It's not that slow. Technically, Jellicent is the only slow Pokemon. It has lots of pressure fast move wise and charge move wise, and it has decent coverage. Technically, you lose your ABA weak to Scrafty and Umbreon. No one used Umbreon, right? Let's hope that. But the BBML team in this cup, which is like the basic meta lineup, it's always has been Pidgeot double steal. Okay, the steal was Escav, then with Registeel, then it became G-Fisk with Registeel. Now it's Cobalion with Registeel. If you don't have a Registeel, you could do Swampert, you could do Pidgeot, you could do Virizion. For those people who will be like, okay, I don't have Registeel, what am I supposed to do? This is what you're supposed to do. But I looked up Go Battle Log as well, and the most common team on the Ultra League was the team I made hella of content about last season, last Ultra League rotation: Dragonite, Jellicent, and the Skunk. If you guys around this YouTube channel when it had 3.9k subs, so please, if you're new to the channel, actually subscribe. Okay, let's increase this number, so I feel ashamed whenever I don't make content. I have many videos about this team. One of them I hit legend with this team. But yeah, most of your teams I hit legend with this team. It's supposed to be an Ultra League one, so that's supposed to be an Ultra League logo. That's how you look them up. Memi hit 35. Well, you can look up this one. Memi hit 35-31 MMR with this double Shadow team, because Memi runs Shadow Skunk. I don't run Shadow Skunk. If you are still confused which one to run, Shadow Skunk and non-Shadow Skunk, I made a video about that. Shadow Skunk, but says non-Shadow Skunk, which one is better for Ultra League. You could go watch it because there is like lots of matchups you need to be aware of. And there is the Ed version of this team, which is he doesn't run Jellicent, he does something much bulkier, which is Registeel. So with this team, you use a Skunk to bait out the Swampert. If they swap in Jellicent, you just go Registeel. You bait out Registeel, So if they swap in Jelly, you go Regi. If you lose your lead, you go Skunk. You can go Registeel, by the way. It's not even bad. Registeel is capable of winning the Zero Shield against its own counters. That's why Registeel is the most busted Pokemon in the Ultra League. Go Back Log had some suggestions, and it mentioned that if you guys looking for a Gliscor team, according to Go Battle Log, the best Gliscor team is Gliscor, Jellicent with Cobalion. Why Jellicent? Because people would safe swap Swampert or Giratina, so you need Jellicent for that. Why Registeel? Why Cobalion? In case people safe swap Registeel, you have a hard Registeel answer. There is the triple Shadow Claw user. Well, you don't run triple Shadow Claw. You run Shadow Claw A/, Dragon Breath Giratina, and Shadow Claw Gliscifad. I think this is what's his name? A Mind Joke, one of the best players in the world. He's an EU Emperor player. He used to spam A/ when A/ was low-key off meta. Now after A/ becoming meta, he's playing A/ with a Gliscopod in most of the cups. It's a solid team. Giratina, never been anything but amazing Pokemon. Gliscopod is slightly off meta, but also great if you can land the debuff. You need to get the debuff in most of the cases to flip the matchups, but whenever you get the debuff, you're in a good shape. Go Battle Log, AVB weak to Swampert. With this team, you use Virizion to bait out the Swampert, and you try to beat the Swampert with the Walrein. If you don't bait out the Swampert, it's tough. This team was also popular when I was making lots of content about the Dragonite lead, and then people started using this as a low-key, a triple hard counter, because I lose lead, I go Skunk, they bring Charizard, I go Jellicent, they bring in what's his face, Ampharos. So yeah, this is like the main concept about this team. I saw some people running when people said they don't have Skunk, I recommended to run Tentacruel, and this team became also popular, like as a different version. But with Tentacruel, you low-key need Ampharos. Why? Because you want to beat the Swampert with Ampharos, and then Tentacruel can sweep the back. Ampharos is against Giratina. It's actually not bad of a matchup, especially if they have Shadow Claw, because Shadow Claw is so slow, and you have Brutal Swing, and 2 Brutal Swing can do enough damage with a fast move pressure to KO. Don't lead Pidgeot, I guess. So with this team, it's low-key tough to beat if they have the Pidgeot double steal, but if they have the Pidgeot steal, you just destroy them. And remember, if they swap in a steal, you don't go Charizard, you go Giratina with Shadow Claw, always. Triple legendary team. This team is outdated, this team is bad. It's not the greatest. With this team, if you win, that's because you have 2 great Pokemons here, which is the Giratina and the Registeel, and Tapu Fini to provide some fast move pressure. This is not a triple legendary. Okay, I didn't know who made this team, so I'm just gonna check Home Slice Henry, YouTube, and find out, because I looked it up, I couldn't find it. I think he posted it on Twitter because he copied someone on Twitter or something. But yeah, if you're looking for a Snorlax team, this is by far, I think, the best Snorlax team. Guzzlord, it's a legendary Pokemon. It's not an XL one though. So you use a Snorlax, I think, to bait out Tapu Fini. Because this team, low-key, is not the greatest against Tapu Fini. With Registeel, you need Thunderbolt here. So remember, you need to bait out the Dark. And the Dark are 2 Pokemon. Sorry, you use a Snorlax to bait out the Cobalion and the Virizion, and then you use DD to beat those 2. Some old teams. These are some old teams I made content about in the past, but they tend to perform less now, because the meta is leaning toward like fast-paced Pokemon such as A/, such as A/, and its own counters like Virizion, like Ampharos, like Kobalion. It's another team that I made a YouTube video about. I hit a new season high. Yeah, I remember this team. This is the Swampiest team. This is the team I used to spam the most back in the days when Como was released. Como, Registeel, and Jellicent. The problem with this team is that they buffed the Dragonite, then Dragonite just became straight better. The original A-Mine joke team is A/ with a Charizard and Giratina. It used to be Triple Week 2 Tapu Fini. Now he replaced the Charizard with Gliscopod. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much everyone for watching. This is the end of the video. If you like the video, please leave a like, new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and make sure to watch the previous videos I made. There's like 2 fun videos about Umbreon double charm. You don't want to miss that one out. It's actually funny how someone climbed with double charm and was clapping all those people who saved Swap Medi or Sableye. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching. This is the end of the video. See you in the next one. Peace.